Good morning, Dave here with Organic Gardening in North Carolina. It is the 29th of May. Happy Memorial Day to those of you in the United States. Time for a garden tour. Let me turn the camera around and show you what's going on. Okay, here's the lower end of the garden. Some onions. This blueberry bush is gotten much bigger than any of the others. Oh, look at that. You get to see my first blueberry that I'm gonna eat. Yum. Look at that. Not quite ripe, but first one. Yum. Mmm. It's delicious. There are some other blueberries hanging on there too. Didn't know they were so close to being ripe. Alright, here's a little tomato. I believe this is a black Versailles. Here is my fig tree that I had covered up through the winter, and it sprouted out from the bottom. So I'm excited about that. I planted some popcorn in here just last night. I didn't put it very deep, and then I put a little layer of mulch over the top. So I'm not sure how that'll come up, but we'll see. Someone gave my daughter a seed growing pack, and it had little cups, and one thing was watermelon and another seed was some kind of flower. Both really inappropriate for a tiny little cup like they gave it. But they both did sprout, and the flowers, I don't think they made it into the garden and transplanted, but the watermelons did. So here's a little bit of some watermelons starting up. Here's some more tomatoes. These are from some of my pots that I really didn't have labeled very well. So I put some wood chips under them yesterday, and I'm just gonna let them sprawl and see if they produce. When I was growing up, we never staked our tomatoes, or I would say rarely, because we had a large garden with plenty of room for them to grow. That's probably why we never did it. There's another little tomato. Here's a Holland green. Got some huge leaves on that thing. Then above that, it's my potato plants that I took a video of planting them not long ago. Let's see, I did put some sweet potatoes in here too. On this little trellis, there's a nylon trellis here. The sweet potatoes, I just transplanted them not long ago. A week or so. So hopefully they'll climb up that little trellis. This fig tree here did not make it over the winter. Actually, it was sprouting out this spring, so I didn't worry about it. And I think this may have gotten dry. We had like a week or so that we didn't get any rain this spring. It may have gotten too dry and dried out. But this may be a little difficult to see, but right here, oh no, you can see that. Right there is I planted these seeds inside and sprouted them like I would a sunflower seed, and then I put it in the garden. It is a tree, Moringa. My mind went blank there. Yeah, a Moringa tree. I don't think they're gonna make it through the winter here, but they are supposed to grow like 8 or 10 feet in one season. So we'll see what happens. I know Jake grows these in Arizona, and they get pretty cold out there, but I don't think they get quite as cold as here, so we'll see. I might have to grow it as an annual. Anyways, I planted these in various spots through the garden. Be interesting to see how it does. This is actually on a hugel mound, which is not much of a mound anymore, but that's what it was. Let's see, I think I planted one over on this hugel mound too. I'm not sure where I planted it really, so I'm not sure if that's coming up yet or not. This is my ginger, which after I transplanted it didn't seem to be doing too well, but it seems like it's recovering now. That ginger plant had a volunteer tomato in that I left it grow too. Here is my garlic. I actually took the top scapes off of those yesterday, or I took them off of most of them. Here's one that's still on. See the scape, that's where it actually makes other little garlic. They're almost like cloves, and you can replant them, but most people say it takes energy away from the bottom, so I pulled most of them off. There's some lettuce still here, and it's still delicious, so we're still eating that. See, this here is parsley that's gone to seed. This plant's probably, I guess I grew it last year, maybe even the year before. This is Swiss chard that's going to seed. This is some new comfrey that I planted. It's Bocking 14, which is a kind that doesn't go to seed, so it's not going to have the danger of spreading across the world, I guess. Okay, here's some sunflowers. I believe this is lavender, with another comfrey plant in front of it. This is another Holland green. Some more lettuce. My lettuce did really, really well this year. As you can see, I haven't even eaten most of it. I was trying to see, I think I put another Moringa tree down here. That may be it starting to come up right there. Or that might be just a piece of grass. That might be the Moringa tree there too. Or again, another piece of grass. Just see if it sprouts out. Here's a basil plant. My goji berry, it's sprouted out, but it doesn't seem to be doing real great. I might not have that in a very good spot for it, because it's sort of in the bottom of the hill, so it might be a little bit more wet than it should be. Here's our strawberries. We've been getting some strawberries for quite a while. As you can see, they get ripe and they rot pretty quick. Oh, sorry for spending some time here, but they are delicious, even if they are a little rotten. There's my granddaughter's flower garden, some dahlias in there, and some canna lilies. Canna lilies, I believe that's what they are. There's my sorrel, which seems to be growing like a perennial. When we went to my mother's funeral, I found a packet of seeds that said Grandma's Pink Zinnias. This is the only one I got to grow from that. It was in a, I said a pack, it was actually a plastic bag with just a bunch of seeds thrown in it. So this is the only zinnia that I managed to keep alive from that pack. So I'm excited to see what those are going to look like. I'm not sure which mom's zinnias those came from. So that'll be interesting to see. Here's some chard. Looks like a rainbow chard with the red on it. Here's my tallest Malabar spinach, which is probably getting over 3 feet tall now. This is my cellulose lettuce, which is going to seed. And that thing is over 5 feet tall. We're also getting raspberries now. I put a lot of grass clippings in there last summer, which I think has really helped them because the raspberries are really looking healthy this year. I put grass clippings and I put wood chips in there too. This is kale that's pretty much gone to seed, but I have been still picking some leaves and giving them to the rabbits and eating them. This is arugula that is going to seed, and these seeds are actually ready to harvest. If you see how easily that popped open, and the seeds are just laying in there. In fact, I think a lot of them have already reseeded. If you look down here, you can see these sprouting up. They should be arugula, although it's possible they could be kale too, because the kales are seeding also. I really think they're probably mostly arugula though, because the arugula is really ready to harvest the seeds. Look how those seeds just want to pop out into my hand. Let's see, I do have some carrots growing down here too. I think I might have a rabbit in here that's been munching on my carrots, because there's a lot of leaves that are chewed off. It's a brave rabbit though, because I got dogs running around in this yard. Let's see, there was another raspberry over here I was gonna eat. Yeesh. Gotta love that. Here's some lamb's quarter. Oh, okay. I have to come later and get some more raspberries. I planted a couple of zucchinis down here at the bottom of this row of beans. These are some bush beans that I got from my gardener, and I had a mole or something that actually went right through the row right after I put it down and killed some of the plants. So there's some plants missing here, but that's okay. I planted some chard in there and another something, I think it's a flower maybe. Oh, there's the bush beans I got from Emma Gardner. There's the packet for them. They're called black. I can't read it from here. You can probably read it on there. Black valerian or something. There's also right here is an okra plant that's gonna go up beside this tomato cage. There's another okra plant down there. I threw some clover in here too, has a cover underneath the beans. It's actually growing in the wood chips even, where the wood chips are pretty thick, so I don't know that they'll make it. But here's my tomato cage. It's already, this is like 4 feet tall. I might go up another foot, put one more section on top of it, and then I'll probably just let the tomato vines run around the top. But I also put pepper plants in here. There's a pepper plant. This is a volunteer something, not sure what. Might be a squash, it might be a cucumber. Oh look, this actually has This pepper plant has a pepper on it. Didn't realize it had something that big. That, I think, is a poblano, probably. I planted clover down at the base of this, too. I do have some tomatoes coming. Get my camera in there. I believe these are black Versailles. They're an interesting little pattern on those tomatoes. There's a lot of them hanging on there. This one is an ox heart, which that tomato doesn't look that healthy. Hopefully there'll be more coming. Someone said black, or the ox heart, oh, there's some tomatoes down there too. The ox heart are one of the hardest to grow because it's an heirloom that has no resistance to any kind of disease. Okay, next we have Isis candy tomato, which is a cherry tomato. It's got a fair amount of tomatoes hanging on there. And lastly in here is my cherry tomato, which is one that I've been growing for 3 or 4 years. It seems like it produces the best and tastes the best of, better than the ones that I actually buy the seed for. So I'll probably put one more section on here later today. On the top side here, I did plant some sunflowers. I think these are the ones I got from M.I. Gardener also. Then I have some nasturtium. Here's my nasturtiums, which I like to eat because they are almost taste like a radish. And they have pretty flowers on there too, that you can eat the flowers also. I planted cucumbers along this other side here, which should get some shade, but they should still be able to do well. This was a surprise this year. This is my stevia plant from last year, and I didn't think of stevia as being a perennial because it actually flowered, went to seed, and I got a lot of seeds from the plant. But this sprouted out from the roots of where the plant was last year. So that was pretty amazing. Here's some comfrey that is going to seed. This is the other variety that I had at first before I got the Bocking 14. And I already chopped this comfrey down earlier this year, not that many weeks ago. And it's already sprouted out like crazy. Sorry, it's hard to pass by a raspberry bush without popping some more in your mouth. Here is Ray's from Praxis Rapunzels. Look at those, they're a little oblong. But this is a Rapunzel plant from Ray at Praxis. I only had one of these that made it to my garden from all the ones I sprouted. Here's another tomato. These tomatoes are probably 6 feet tall already. Need to give them a little more support. And I'm not sure which brands these are, because I did put little tags on them, but the tags were, I just wrote on the paper cup, and then I put the paper cup on the ground, but the paper cup sort of deteriorated, so you can't read them. So it's anybody's guess. I'm thinking this might be a pecan tree, because I threw some pecans in the ground last fall. I don't think I planted it there, but I think the squirrels actually dug them up and replanted them for me. So they probably did a more proper job, because they've been planting nuts for longer than I have. This is Freckles lettuce that I got from MI Gardener. It's delicious. Here's some red and green lettuce that I got from my brother. I don't remember which type of lettuce that was. Here is my fig tree. This was my largest fig tree from last year. It grew up to 4, almost 5 feet in one season. But we had a 17-degree day in March that I think killed a lot of the garden. And this thing sprouted out from the base this year. All the top growth was dead on it, but it's already taken off quite well. I'm hoping I'll get some figs off it this year. I think we will. Last year the figs came out too late for them to get ripe before the end of the season. Let's see here, I planted some onions from sets. Looks like a lot of them didn't come up, which I'm surprised, because onions are pretty easy to grow. There's my Jerusalem artichokes growing. Some of them are 3 or 4 feet already. Need to give them more support this year. Here's some volunteer marigolds. Horseradish. Covering up my worm pit. This is my bloody dock sorrel. This is broccoli that's gone to seed. This is a cucumber, which is inside my tomato cage. I'm gonna let it grow up in there. And it actually was in this little, I forget what you call that, but it has water in it. Wall of water, I believe it's called, to help get an earlier start because it warms the soil. Here's some more basil. I'll take some of that in for egg omelet today. This is a pepper plant. I need to give that some support because it's getting tall already. I actually purchased these pepper plants from the store because my just ordinary pepper plants didn't make it this year from my seed starts. Cilantro is going to seed. This part of the garden has sort of been a little wild. Some beans growing up here. I think those are rattlesnake beans. Some onions here, they're going to seed. I believe this may be broccoli, but I could still be eating the leaves off of that. And I will. More volunteer marigolds. Over here I planted some runner beans. They'll go up this trellis. And then on the rest of the trellis here, I planted the rattlesnake beans. Here's some volunteer red Malabar spinach, where I had a big growth of it last year. Here I thinned them out. Here I didn't thin them out yet. I can actually thin these out and eat them as I thin them. Alright, well I think that's about it for the May garden tour. Thanks for watching. Have a happy Memorial Day. See you again soon. Have a blessed day.